On top of facing spiraling cognitive decline, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is a petty, immature, petulant titty baby. Play the clip.
Make a couple of tweaks. I mean, we don't want to benefit Democrat governors, although I would do that if it made it better, but they don't know what they're doing. We don't want to do any damage to a state. We want to help all the states, but we have governors that are from the Democrat Party. Let's say New York, Illinois, big ones, and let's say Gavin Newsom, who's done a horrible job in California. We want to benefit we want to benefit Republicans because they are the ones that are going to make America great again. The Democrats are destroying our country, and you see that with the past administration, with an open borders policy that allowed 21 million people into our country, and many of those people are stone-cold murderers, killers, and...
Okay, it's enough of the lies. Okay, several things here. Number one, he's standing right next to Christ follower Moses Mike Johnson, and he's sitting there calling the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. He's criticizing the governor of Illinois, New York, California. And here are the facts on the ground. These states, Illinois, New York, California, are what are referred to as donor states. They give more in federal income taxes than they pay back. States like ours that we live in, Oklahoma, MAGA super majority, not one county went blue, are parasitic states. They take more than they give. Furthermore, it's really rich that these MAGA guys want to run around browbeating Joe Biden right now. And Joe Biden, whether you like him or not, or you thought he was too old or whatever, number one, he's not president anymore. But number two, he was president for every single person. If there was a disaster in a red state, he immediately released FEMA funds to help Americans, regardless of political party. He didn't play politics because he was a big boy. But this guy is a little tiny toddler that is sitting here at the top of the world playing politics with states whose policies he disagree with that pay for all of his and his billionaire friends' ability to not pay taxes. That's what this is. It is a long con where these people are consistently trying to lie to their supporters and say, you can't have nice things because of these immigrants or because of these Democrats. You can't have nice things because Donald Trump and the entire MAGA movement lie to you. They lie so that they can have everything, and they emotionally and spiritually blackmail you to vote against your own best interest.
It infuriates me that he's still talking about the open borders under Biden and 21 million, because that has been disproven time and time again. But Trump never lets facts get in the way of a good lie. But here's what irritates me. If Joe Biden or Barack Obama got on TV and said, we only want to make policy and fund Democratic states, only blue states, because we don't like what the Republican supermajorities are doing, Fox News would go bananas. The right-wing echo chamber would have a meltdown. And he sits there and acts like he has the absolute zero empathy for anybody unless they have his lips on his ass.
And then let's just remember, people in his party claim to be big Jesus people, big Christians. Trump talked about he's bringing religion back in the strongest way anybody's ever seen. Well, one of the tenets of Christianity is to help those suffering. Here's what the President of the United States a headline here about not approving FEMA for St. Louis, right here. The mayor of St. Louis says FEMA has not arrived to help after devastating tornadoes despite her requests. And I remember from that video right before, sits little Moses Mike Johnson, who talks incessantly about his religion and God and prayer, wanting to pray the gay away and all of these things. The number one tenet, I would think, I'm not a religious person, and I have this calling, this moral calling that we pay these federal taxes, and if a tornado hits any American, even if it's some MAGA trailer park, they are entitled to federal assistance. I believe that's the decent, right, humane thing to do. Not these MAGA Republicans. They don't, because they want all the money for themselves. Next up, Rolling Stone's headline, put this up. Trump lies that his bill cuts taxes for everyone when it raises them on the poor. Trump's big, beautiful bill will raise taxes on those making less than $15,000 in 2027 and even more by 2029, according to the Congressional Joint Committee on Taxation.
What's so amazing about this is we haven't heard a word about tax on tip because he's not doing that. No taxes on Social Security. He's not doing that. He is cutting funds for SNAP, for Medicaid, Social Security, raising taxes on poor people. And yet he runs around and he called, first of all, why is no one talking about the President of the United States referring to proposed law as a big, beautiful bill? How old are you? That is ridiculous.
Pubs, his Twitter name is @RealDonaldTrump.
I know.
We don't even talk about that. @RealDonaldTrump. I mean, this is a completely insecure, malignant narcissist that all he can speak is in these 5th to 7th grade adjectives, and it's the biggest thing of this and the best the world has ever seen. And this guy is not intellectual. He's intellectually lazy. He is a con artist. It reminds me of that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio with the con man. Catch Me If You Can, I think it was called. That's what this guy is. All right, next up, Washington Post. Put this up. After President Trump's 3rd phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin since his inauguration, it appears there will be no let up in fighting unless U.S. pressure on Moscow. So this comes as a surprise to no one. And the Republicans, for as long as I can remember, were very big on national security. And that was one of the flexes as a liberal that lives in a blue state, that when I would get into healthy discussions with people on the other side of the aisle, friends, acquaintances, these were always their go-to, the Constitution. I believe in the Constitution. That's why I support the Republican Party. I believe in a strong national security. I believe in a strong national defense. These were two of the big tenets. These have been completely eroded from their vocabulary. They are completely obsequious to Vladimir Putin, whose number one goal has been to drain American power from within. And Donald Trump was a key player / co-conspirator in that plan. And what has he done? He has done exactly that. He has drained the American economy. It's far worse than what people are actually reporting. We are heading straight into a recession. He's draining. Our military is laughable right now, which makes me so sad for the people in lower class neighborhoods that were recruited by these Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines as a way to get out of those neighborhoods and have a career. And they get sucked out of this to then go work for a guy who's texting war plans with emojis on a Signal chat. And I mean, not even a slap on the wrist.
No, in fact, Michael Waltz, who invited the Atlantic reporter, is now the nominee for the U.S. ambassador. I think the more incompetent and corrupt you are, the better Trump likes you, the more you can do. And it is an abomination that he sits around and says, Ukraine invaded Russia. He does it, and then he acts like he's so for peace, and it's Vladimir, stop, and he gets on phone call. No pressure. It's unbelievable.
It's just breathtaking American weakness that has been sanewashed by the media and continually sanewashed by the gigantic right-wing media echo chamber. If the roles were reversed and any Democrat behaved this way, even remotely, they would be calling for impeachment, and justifiably. All right, next up, we have a photograph here. Pop this up. Trump calls America a stupid country because he has to obey the Constitution. As the U.S. Supreme Court was preparing to hear arguments from the administration about doing away with the constitutional right to birthright citizenship, Donald Trump got on Truth Social and had another epic meltdown. This time, however, he took things further than ever by declaring the United States a stupid country if he's not allowed to violate the Constitution. So I was on, I think, Instagram the other day, and I saw this clip of Bill Maher. And Bill Maher was going off about how Americans shouldn't criticize their country. Like, he's turned into kind of like the thought police to say, we don't like the country. Nobody criticizes the United States more than Donald Trump. Yet the burden to be perfect, to be the perfect patriot, to have crystal clear politics at all times, it's always critiqued from the right to the left. And then you have people like Bill Maher, who used to be liberal, who now has been quasi-red pilled. And when I saw that clip, I thought, I learned a long time ago in a public school in Oklahoma that what was unique about the United States is you didn't have to like it. And you had that right you had that right to not like the country, and you had the right to be able to say, I don't like America. Now, will there be meltdowns on the right? Of course. Will they lose their mind because they're so thin-skinned about their own links to American patriotism or what have you? Yes, and we can leave that up for the psychiatrist to analyze. But this is a really interesting thing that we have an American president that has consistently and constantly called the United States of America a piece of shit and a terrible country, and he does it with impunity.
No one calls him out on it.
Nobody.
Nobody ever says, it's like if you dry hump the American flag, then it's all good. You don't have to be complimentary of American. He does nothing but denigrate America, Congress people. He even goes after Republicans that don't agree with him. He's bad rapping the Supreme Court, but because the Supreme Court wants him to abide by the terms of the Constitution. That's really not a stretch for the president.
Trump doesn't care about any of these policies.
Yeah.
He just cares about advancing his own corruption. The things that he really enjoys are like picking fights at 1:30 a.m. with musicians. Like that's where I think in his mind, he thinks he shines. And that's really probably his favorite thing to do. Talking about Russia and geopolitical issues, he's so far over his skis on this. I remember the reports from Trump 1.0 when he actually had some people around him that were right-wing, but actually believed in the rule of law. They said he would be in these meetings with the generals, and he was bored to tears, and he would be like on his phone tweeting, paying zero attention. And the problem now is the first time he was surrounded by people that could do their jobs. Maybe I didn't agree with them politically, but they believed pretty much in the tenets of American democracy. Fast forward to this, he's surrounded by people that are equally as dumb as he,
right,
and equally as intellectually lazy as he, and equally as corrupt as he. And then you get to like somebody like Kristi Noem. I mean, this woman is just not even bright at all. She should not be in charge of anything except maybe perhaps like a spa, Botox spa, something like that. I think she'd probably do a great job running that, running ad campaigns for that, dressing up the models in different outfits. But instead, she is in charge of the Homeland Security. Pumps other day, I am at the Syracuse airport, leaving my son's graduation, flying to LaGuardia, and I'm in line, TSA line, and there is this TV screen, and it's Kristi Noem.
Of course it is.
She has produced this video. Welcome to Homeland Security. I'm Kristi Noem, and I just thought, Jesus Christ, these people are everywhere, and it's just it's all of this like showmanship. Politics, like his entire administration. What's so amazing to me right now, as they're talking about Joe Biden and his competency, and do people cover it up? While Donald Trump has to have a narrator stand next to his desk, and they put a bill in front of him, an executive order, and he goes, well, what's this? And they tell him, he goes, well, what does that do? Well, I've never heard of this before. And he signs it. And I'm like, we're all openly covering up for this man's mental decline while he's surrounded by people who have to explain to him what he's signing. And he's never even heard of it before. And he doesn't know who invaded Ukraine, which it was Russia. And so we're living in the demise of the American democracy. And so many people beyond just the right-wing media echo chamber are complicit in washing this man in his horrific mental decline. It is marked, it is obvious, and he is surrounded by people that you would think wouldn't have such great mental decline because they're decades younger than him. But they're right there neck to neck with him, which is just fascinating. Okay, we'll see you all later.